So I think the thing that I wanted to talk about initially was how we first met, which was...
How did we first meet?
It was at the Squibby get-together.
In Sydney?
No, oh yes, in Sydney. We met in Sydney.
Yeah.
At the conference.
Yeah.
And I was sort of into my children's book journey.
Yes.
And you were starting, but you had Colorado's out by then.
No.
No.
No. I had
you
nothing.
were really keen.
I was really keen. Do you know what I did get out of that conference?
Yeah.
And that was confidence. Of course, I was writing and illustrating, like aspiring. Yeah. But I didn't have that confirmation that I could write.
Yes.
And there was a competition just for manuscripts. Yeah. And I entered it and I came fourth. And it got announced when we were eating dinner, and I almost spat my salmon out. And it's really what I needed. Yeah. And like nothing else has beaten that high of that fourth place, because it was just the confirmation and the confidence of like, okay, maybe I can write, because I'm in a room of all these incredible people, including a lot of published authors, and I came fourth. So, and that manuscript, it was actually pretty bad and it never got picked up. Hairdos by Hernando. No, I've got a whole bin full of things that never got published, but it just gave me enough to keep going. Yeah. And actually, I'll tell you the other thing that conference taught me was, so I met you and a lot of friends that I'm still like friends with today, but everyone told me a different piece of information that I then followed up. So someone told me about the CYA conference, which I ended up going to, and that's how I got my first contract. If I hadn't have gone to the Squibby conference, I wouldn't have gone to the CYA conference, and so all these things.
On it goes.
Exactly. Yeah.
About to get on the mic.
Yes. I'm on. Okay. So.
Okay. So, moving forward, it's great.
So how do I just like...
You glide a bit.
Yeah.
I can pull you along a little bit.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So hands here. How does that feel?
Oh yeah.
You're getting the sensation of it? It's quite nice pulling someone along.
When I first went at 13, it was Queensland, and the ice was always mushy. It's like they just couldn't quite
get it
sort
cold
it out.
enough. You get as low as you can.
Yep.
I hate doing this, I have to say. And then I know it's hard, but just let yourself fall.
Okay. Oh my God.
And then have a think about what it feels like down here. It's not that bad. It's just a bit cold. You have to lean forward as you're doing it.
Lean forward.
If it feels horrible, you can put your hand on the edge. But the thing about doing that is it means you're not putting a hand on the ice.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of pushing up. You did with
Colorado's, yes.
And it's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And I really like the way that it had this really simple, super schmick design.
Oh, thank you.
Because you were a designer first.
Yes. So I've been a graphic designer for a very long time. Got my first full-time design job when I was 19. So design's always been really important in my books.
Yeah.
And
leaning forward. Let's see, you're off the ice.
Yeah, now I'm up to book, I've got
Five or
books
six?
5 and 6 coming out this year.
5 and
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
And so with your books, it feels like they're very stylish and they're very beautiful. They always have some deeper message. It's like you really remember what it's like to be a child.
I think all of us really write and illustrate for the child within us. But really what prompted me to write my first book was when I had my son.
Yes.
And I'm sure that's very common as well.
There's also you have the time in a different way. You don't have time and you do have time.
Exactly. And I'd never really considered, I just never considered picture books before as an art format that I could do. No. And once I had my son, just started going to beautiful bookstores and the library. I think I was naive enough or delusional enough to think, oh, I could do this. And I think a little bit of that naivety and delusion is good.
Yes.
Because if you knew how hard it was, you probably just wouldn't even get going in the first place.
Yeah, and I think we'll get onto that because it is hard. Even if you do one that looks simple, with, stylish, simple graphics,
there's nowhere to hide in a simple book.
No. I used to look at people's books and think, must have taken them all afternoon to do that. And now I look and I go, oh, actually, there's a lot of skill and knowledge involved. All of these fun activities. But you have to fail.
You do, yes. And, for every book that makes it on shelf, there's a bunch of books that will never see the light of day.
Though I don't see those as failures.
No, and often they can be resurrected.
You see, to me, I don't think you have ever failed. And I think I've failed. Because you don't have anything out there that isn't really good. Whereas I have things out there, because I just took on anything. I have things out there that I'm like, should have.
All your stuff
you've got
is brilliant.
5 beautiful books. Oh,
thank you.
And so I think your approach is very considered, and I think we can all learn from that.
This is the interview format is good to distract from the. I'm not sure if the ice skating distracts from the interview or if the interview distracts from the ice skating.
We'll get you past this person. I think you might have to branch out. You do see her. Yeah.
I'm doing it, Mum.
You're doing it. Just put your hands out here. Did you ever do ballet? No. It's like this position, and then you push out and pull in. And so all you're doing is you're moving your feet on the ice, but you're not lifting them. But can you see just moving your feet moves you?
Yeah.
We all get offered things when we're quite busy. So
yes.
I know myself, I've turned down a few things because I've had something else on. So has that happened to you?
Yes. Yeah, there was one I turned down, and it was actually a brilliant manuscript, but well, the thing is, when you're an author illustrator, everything has a little bit of an opportunity cost.
Yeah.
So
I haven't thought like that. You see, I think you think in a much more clear-headed way.
I don't feel very strategic, but thank you for seeing that. Everything has a little bit of an opportunity cost, especially when you've got other work and a young family. So, and I know I can really only produce 1 to 2 books a year, and I feel like I have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So if the right manuscript comes along, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it would have to be something that was so good that I just couldn't say no.
I take on 4 picture books a year. I love them. I get really excited. And I don't find the actual illustrating difficult, but the amount of time it takes up makes everything else difficult.
Yes.
So then there are sacrifices and I get burnt out.
Yeah.
So 2 a year is really sensible, maximum, because you have other stuff going on. You've got a job.
Yeah, yes. Because I do commercial illustration, and I also do a lot of commercial graphic design work, which is just excellent bread and butter. And, you put in your invoice and you get paid straight away.
I don't think people realise, I think A lot of people think it's a joy and a delight to illustrate their book, and it kind of is, but we have lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, so would you have any advice for people starting out in illustration? Or for me?
Definitely no advice for you, Lucinda. I'll need to get advice from you.
My advice is to just keep leaning forward.
Yeah, yes. Ooh. Oh, wow, okay. There's blood on the ice. Blood on the ice. It's not mine, so it's all good. So yes, advice.
Hands forward.
It can be really frustrating sitting around waiting for opportunities.
Yeah.
And you just have to make your own book.
Yeah.
If you are, and really question, if you tell yourself that you're not a writer, because I used to think that of myself, I think you really have to question that, because so many illustrators have an excellent sense of story.
I think that's the key thing. Lots of people can write lovely prose. Lovely prose in itself, I don't think is very interesting to children.
Yeah.
It's the story.
And if you can tell a story, if you can tell a joke, if you can tell a story, then maybe you can write a book.
I think so.
And it's not going to be easy. Like my gosh, I've done so many courses. I've read so many books. One really corny but really excellent book that I read was actually recommended to me by an actress friend.
Yeah.
Save the Cat.
Oh yeah, I have a few people have recommended Save the Cat.
It helps me so much. And
it breaks down those tropes.
I'm sure all the real writers would absolutely cringe.
No, I've had real writers recommend
Oh, really?
it.
Okay.
Tania will know the book.
Yeah.
Oh. See, you write it yourself. She does have further to fall than me.
Yeah. I don't want to add any more blood to the ice.
But it's a jam sandwich.
But now that's a book. There you go.
Blood on the ice.
Yeah, so I think don't wait around. Create your own book, even if it's a alphabet board book or a color book. You know, it's some sort of just concept book for babies. You're illustrating something, and that proves to publishers that you can do it. You can start and finish a book, and B, you're really
got your
motivated.
head around what's involved.
Yeah, and B, you're hungry and you're motivated.
And I think, I mean, we know this, it's so obvious, but not having just one story you're desperate to have out.
Yes,
but lots of stories, lots of ideas you want to try. And also, when you say create your own book, not coming and saying, I self-published my book.
Yeah.
Will you sell it for me? Because
yes, they won't be interested in that.
They'll be out there quite quickly, I'd say.
I think it's really important to be really loose with ideas.
Yeah.
Hold your ideas really, really loosely, and roll them around. And I really think that's that ability to hold your idea so loosely that it can go in any direction at any time. Yeah.
But so would you say you're quite good at taking criticism and creative advice through your job?
Yes. I think it's it becomes a survival technique. Yeah. And then it just becomes, when you're starting out as a junior, and then it's just what you have to do, of course, in commercial design, because it's not about you. And I think coming from a commercial creative background, really it lets you be really good with your time as far as getting ideas out to a deadline, and B, stops you being precious, but also to push back against anything that doesn't quite resonate, obviously in a really respectful, collaborative manner.
Yes, that's the other thing. You learn it's a collaboration. That, firstly, the publisher's paying to get it all made.
I'm lucky that my publisher does give me a lot of rope to get my idea out into the world, and great feedback and excellent knowledge of production.
You've got a really good relationship with a publisher who understands and likes your style of work.
People are everything in publishing, so I think if you can find a good get a good team around you.
Have you noticed I've speeded up to keep pace with you? Can you see that girl down there? She's like this star ice hockey player.
Oh my gosh.
And I flinched when she came near me, and one of her friends said, look, she can stop on a dime, you know, don't get scared. And I'm like, yeah, but it's like I'm in a Barina and she's in a Ferrari. And so I'm understandably nervous, you know. And incredibly
Well, if
nice.
you're in a Barina, I'm in some like rusted, busted one-wheel bicycle.
Tractor. You're so not in a tractor.
A rusted farm junk tractor. And you're in a Barina, and that woman's in a Ferrari.
But we all have to share the road.
I'm just happy I haven't broken anything.
So we've got the lovely spider book. Can you tell us a bit about Spiro?
So Spiro is my new picture book that I wrote and illustrated, and it's all about persistence. It's a spider that has to redesign his web because he keeps building his web from all these movable objects. So he'll build it from a bicycle to a sleeping dog to a lawnmower.
I've always wondered that about spiders when they build webs on my bike. I feel sorry for them.
Exactly. Well, that's how the idea came.
And that's how these yes, that's brilliant.
That's how the idea came to me, because this poor spider, I would move things on the back deck and it would have to keep redesigning its web every day.
Oh,
and I started feeling really guilty. What I like in that book is that you get this really shock change in perspective.
Yeah.
Just when you think you've figured out the pattern of the book. So I always...
You do that.
Thank you, yeah. I do like setting up a pattern and luring the reader into thinking that they know the pattern,
web of deceit.
And then just throwing something out there, even if it's a little bit shocking.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
There we are. That was successful. So Anna, how was the ice skating for you?
Well, I'm feeling very smug and proud of myself.
You were going very fast towards the end.
Yes, I think it's the, anytime you're a little bit anxious about trying a new skill and you don't break anything, you get a sense of smugness.
Someone did break something down there, I think, but I didn't see that.
Yes, Lucinda told me it was a jam sandwich. It was a jam sandwich. I was relieved not to leave any of my own DNA down.
Maybe they just had a blood nose or something. So I thought, this is Spiro. This is your gorgeous book.
Thank you.
On the back, Spiro's formula for spidery success. Sounds a lot like writing and ice skating.
Yes.
11% hunger to succeed, 34% trying again and again and again, 53% giving it another shot, and 2% luck. And a whole lot of spider silk.
Yes, yes.
Gorgeous. So there is a lot of luck in writing, do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, there's an epilogue on the end paper, Tania. I think it says, perseverance weaves the web that catches the lucky break. So this book is a little bit interesting because we're often told as children's book authors that the protagonist, our hero, should solve their own problem in the book. But the way I feel about perseverance is sometimes it's just about hanging in there and trying different things until your luck finally changes. So the ending, Spiro doesn't exactly solve his own problem, but just by hanging in there, his luck changes, so he finally gets what he wants. As writers, it's definitely, it's write what you know, and I don't know much about being a spider, but I certainly know a few things. I certainly know a few things about perseverance and hanging in there, and I'm also a designer, so I know a few things about redesigning and redesigning. Spiro's redesigning his web. I'm usually redesigning web design.
Yeah, it's awesome. Definitely about hanging in there. Say if I was an adult, a writer of adult books, and I wanted to move into writing for children, what would be the one thing, do you think, that I'd have to do differently? What would be the...
I think it's, I think it would just be really understanding the format. I think all the same principles apply. It's about having a great, just a great arc, but it's got to be done this quickly. So it might feel a little bit of a shock. You feel like you've... I was imagining it like a plane the other day, and my parents used to live on Kangaroo Island, and I'd get this plane from Adelaide and you'd be straight up and straight down. And that's that's pretty much how your story arcs need to be in picture books. You need to, by page 3, you need to know who the character is, where we are, and kind of the theme of the book. So it's launching into everything very, very quickly and being very, very, very succinct with every word. Yeah,
sounds a bit like
highly
poetry.
curated.
Yeah. Do the images or the words come first?
Good question.
The illustrations.
I have a bit of a funny method, being an author illustrator. I call it the jigsaw puzzle method. So both come together at the same time, but sometimes I'll have an idea for a picture, so I'll just put that in place. And I kind of just skip Microsoft Word altogether, or any Word formatting. I don't even own a copy of it. And I just go straight into the design software in InDesign, because that allows me to plonk stuff in. So if I'll do a quick sketch, just on a scrap of paper, take a photo, put it in there, or I'll have an idea for the title, or I'll have an idea for a snappy little line or the ending, and I just jigsaw puzzle it all together until I've got enough to write that first draft and then sketch that first draft as well. I often will illustrate with a mixture of Procreate, which is an iPad app, and Photoshop. So I'll use those two things. I've also I've got a baby board book coming out this year, which I designed in Adobe Illustrator, which is a little bit of a more unusual way of illustrating, but it's very clean shapes and lines.
Gorgeous.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for being a brilliant ice skater, and I hope that we'll see you here again soon.
Thank you for teaching me, Lucinda. Everything I know is all thanks to you.
And you were the first one to wear the padded pants, so that's really good.
Yes, I'm not going to thank you for the padded pants.
All right.
But look, if I fell, they might have saved my life. So.
All right. Well, hope to see you soon, here soon and elsewhere, because we all catch up as illustrators.
Yes.
Okay. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.